Yeah, I'm on mobile data now lah. So if you all see anything out of place or my stream is lagging, yeah, just feel free to let me know in the chat. Yeah, for those of you who came through the Discord channel, I'm sorry for the repeated spamming from yesterday and today. Actually, it's because I was testing out some of the Zoom and Twitch streaming features, and yeah, certain things were not working out very well lah. And that's why you saw quite a bit of the spamming of the test stream and stuff. But anyway, I got it settled, and let's get back to business now. Yeah, so today I will be going through a recap of 2 games from the KCF University Cup 2022, which I went for last week. So you can see the details over here. Yeah, it's a online tournament as usual for all these global events, held in the middle of the night, 7 p.m. to 2:45 a.m. I mean, yeah, NUS students, they're all used to it. World Uni Championships, previous KCF editions, they were all like that lah. Yeah. And actually this competition, like unlike others, which is usually on Tornado, this one they decided to hold it on lichess.org. I think a platform that we are all familiar with lah, right? All used to all the varsity chess tournaments. Time control 10+5, reasonable for me. You all know I like increment. What else Yeah, total 9 rounds spread over 2 days, and anyway sent 4 teams for this, and I was quite fortunate to be the bot 2 for Team B in this tournament. Okay, I've rambled on enough lah, so I better get straight into the games. Okay, so this is game 6 of the tournament, right? Brace yourselves because this particular game, yeah, there'll be a lot of twists and turns, and I think if I show you the eval bar now, you'll be really wild lah. Yeah, a bit of spoilers ahead. But yeah, I'm taking the white pieces here, and it opens d4, knight f6, and yeah, we have my all-time favorite King's Indian Manchetto variation, right? So this is something that I think you all might have seen before if you all look at my ACA game recap stream, right? All this is very standard. And here I think my opponent deviates from the previous game which I covered last time with rook to b8. That's a very typical move, especially when the rook is aiming down on this long diagonal. Right? e4. Now e5. Bishop e3. So again, I'm employing my usual plan. Maybe here bishop g5 might have been better because of what was going to happen later on. But anyway, let's go on. Bishop e3. Of course, my hope is that you capture here and white becomes very happy. And b6. So here is where the game starts going really different and very interesting, right? I went for d5 over here. And of course, the idea is, you push b6. Not only you're planning c5, but you're also thinking of trying to get this bishop onto this diagonal. So yeah, why not just lock you in with e5 and try to close? The problem with this move is that it allows knight to c5, which is actually what my opponent played in the game, right? And not only knight to c5, you also have to take care of bishop to a6, which can also be quite annoying, right? And possibly b3 and rook c1, and yeah, I don't know. It's not good to allow your opponent too much counterplay lah. But then again, apart from d5, yeah, I do feel that white's options here can be quite limited. Like b4 was one of the things that I came up with during the post-game analysis. The problem here is bishop a6 is going to be played, right? So let's say, okay, so obviously now the threat is this. So let's say knight d, b5 is one, bishop b7, and now it's hard because how are you going to guard this, right? After knight e1, black has this very interesting move here. Knight g4, I think you might have seen this in my previous recap, the ACA tournament, where Julian pointed out this very interesting variation. So, of course, the idea is that if I don't take, then letting him take here is not so good for me. So, let's say queen g4 takes, and now, basically the position is going to be opened up. Black is going to be slightly better in this position because of the two bishops. Right, and if let's say I go back, I don't play b5, let's say I go knight d2 instead, then black has the same idea. Say for example, knight g4, and then it's the same idea. Then you just play bishop b7 and yeah. So really b4 is a little bit too aggressive, and actually here what the engine suggested is d takes e5 instead. Sorry, not this. Oh gosh, I spoiled the game, right? Never mind, let's go back. Yeah, so really instead of d4, I think the engine suggested d takes e5 here, right? Which kind of makes sense now because the whole idea is that after d takes e5, you lock in the black bishop over here, right? And now, actually, white is free to go about a lot of interesting plans, like for example, knight e1, knight c2, or knight d3, f5, or I think another way for white to continue here is the bishop g5, and then after bishop b7, now that it's very inviting square over here, knight to d5. Yeah, you notice that here I cannot take you. Yeah, because of this pin. So let's say bishop takes d5, right? Then, I mean, white has choices here, right? I can take, I go onto this file, or I can take the queen, and I go on this file, and basically, I think white is in a comfortable position over here, regardless of whichever piece they use to capture. So d takes e5, but instead I went for d5, which wasn't a very accurate move because of knight to c5 now. And here I went for, of course the threat is on over here, right? Here I went for a mistake. B takes c5, right? And the reason why this is a mistake, I will share with you later. But I think what Stockfish suggested here is bishop g5. Yeah, I mean, psychologically, it's hard to play this move because like you move the bishop here already. You don't really want to move it another time, but I think over here it makes perfect sense. Because first of all, you are indirectly defending this pawn, and by doing that, you also buy yourself some time to push b4 and advance on the queen side, right? So let's say, for example, after h6, then takes b4, and again, white has many plans. So let's say, for example, black goes back to like d7. I mean, of course, you have the plan of expanding queen side like a4, a5, but I don't think that's the best plan over here, right? Another good plan would be something like knight e1, knight d3, f5, f4, right? Yes, white has the same kind of break, the f pawn break in the King's Indian as well. And then after f4, you have bishop f3, getting this bishop out. And then when this bishop is free, and this bishop looks stupid, and so on and so forth. I think white has a very comfortable position. Yes, a lot of options in this particular position. But anyway, bishop g5 wasn't played. Instead, bishop takes c5 is played. And the reason why this is a mistake is because now white has no play. Yeah, white has no play, especially on the queen side. You see, I cannot, like usually in the King's Indian, b4, b5 queen side attack is very common, but now white cannot even play that. And if anything, black is the one that has prospects on the queen side, right? Yeah, I mean I have this, but yeah, it just chased me away. It just chased me away. Like I can't do shit, man. Basically. Yeah, maybe something like that, but I don't know. This knight here just looks really awkward and it's like it's doing nothing. Yeah, but anyway, b takes c5 now, and I play yeah, white is nothing. I play b3. So really, what can white do here? Right? Maybe I can go for queenside mention. I think that'll take very long, right? Um, I can go for knight e1, knight d3, f4 as well, but that also takes quite long, right? But we'll see. We'll see. But on the other hand, right, you look at black. Black has very clear plans. Knight e8, which is what black plays here, and it's very simple. The kind of plans for black, right? You just want to push f5, and you're going to be faster than white. So over here, I go knight e1. The idea is of course knight d3, f4, right? But black is faster. Black is faster with the kingside attack. f5, knight d3. Now of course if takes, I'm very happy because now this knight is a very good blockader. This pawn is potentially weak. So black is not going to do that. Instead he goes f4 over here. And now the real danger for white is that black is going to follow up with queen f6. He's going to follow up with f3. And then your bishop is going to be like imprisoned for life, right? It's yeah, so it's very there's a lot of pressure on white now, right? Definitely black is in the driver's seat now. So over here I took quite a long time to think because I realized that oh no, I'm starting to get in a bit of trouble. Can I attack on the queen side? How do I do with this, right? How do I do with this kind of plan? And I start to zone out a bit and couldn't really come up with a good plan over here lah. Right. Eventually I went for this really wonky queen e2 plan, which I will explain later. First of all, let's look at white's alternatives over here. Right. First of all, obviously g takes f4 is bad because e takes f4, and then now this bishop is an absolute monster, right? And then your pawn. I don't even want to think about this variation. The other variation is a3, which I consider as well, and then of course the idea is b4, try to break on the queen side. But I think over here, black just continues with queen to f6, and I'm in a bit of trouble again, right? I think I have to play rook e1 here. It's pretty much forced, and then after f3, bishop to f1. This king side is looking a bit sad, right? I think h5 here, and black is going to follow up with a lot of kingside attack, a lot of pressure, and I can't. I'm not in a very good position to defend against it because like h1, then my heavy pieces are cut off from the defense, and definitely this b4 break is not going to go through. I think black's attack will be stronger over here, right? I just want to check my internet. I think so far so good. Okay, good. F4, right? We go back to this position. I think f3 might be the best plan over here. I mean, it looks really ugly, but very sad. But at least black holds, like if not barely. Queen e1, and then if you just got to hold out and hope for the best. Queen e1, knight knight, knight e1 or something. It's just sad. But instead of all this, right, I spent 3 minutes in this position. You notice the time counter, I'm like 7 minutes now. And I went for this really wonky queen e2, and at first glance it looks horrible, right? Like this, you just land yourself in a fog. The idea here that I was thinking was bishop f3, and the idea is that I'm going to force my way onto this diagonal, and then hopefully try to trail this bishop, or even better, I can try to close off. If g4, h3, and when the position is close, black has nothing. Right? And I'm not so scared of takes. I saw this actually, because like even if you play bishop h3, rook f2, I'm still quite safe. I'm safe and yeah. Basically, I think I can survive this. Yeah, so I saw this to win the game. What I did not see, and what black played over here is really the strongest move in the position, bishop h3. And actually over here, black wins the exchange by force. Right? I think the idea is pretty obvious, right? So basically if I play basically if I run a rook away, this guy hangs. I don't do that, I take it. I just spin the rook anyway. When you play this, you just So after bishop h3, actually I have to give up the exchange. Right. But it's not over. It's not over, and you will see why. So I went for g4 over here. And the reason for this you will see later is because after bishop takes f1, rook takes f1. Oh, by the way, I considered this as well, queen takes f1 with the idea of this, but I think either way white will still need a lot of tempo to get to the king side. Yeah, but anyway, the reason why I played g4 is because after bishop takes f1, rook takes f1, you notice that even though, yes, white is up, black is up the exchange, he has the rook for the bishop, but actually without any open files on the king side, right? And actually on the queen side as well. And it's not so, because of this, it's not so easy for black to press on the advantage. What black needs to do over here is to try and open up some files, and that is exactly what I don't want him to do, and that is why I play g4, so that I try and close up the position and basically try to use my knights to hopefully overpower the rooks in this close position. Right? No, he definitely didn't play that move. So a6 played here. Okay, good move. Trying to stop my knight from coming in, shutting down all the counterplay over there. King to h1 now. And the idea here is that, most of his pieces are like away on the queen side, that rook is doing nothing, right? So what I want to do, I'm going to bring my rook over, maybe play g5, chase away this queen, h4, try to create some chaos here, and then hopefully I bring my knights over and then attack the king, hope for the best. Queen g5 here. I don't think that was a very good move. You will see later why. Rook g1 and knight f6. Knight e1. So that's the plan. h4. And the reason why I don't really like the positioning of black's pieces here is because, well, first of all, I am going to expand on the king side. Right? You don't want to fight me there. Where does black want to fight me? You should be fighting me on the queen side, right? I relocated everybody there. This knight is like here, doing nothing. Hey, hello, cow. Yeah, your name sounds familiar. You're from one of the varsities, right? Knight e1. And really, this position of black's pieces don't really do them any justice, right? What I feel black should have done is, instead of queen g5, maybe you go for queen e7 instead. Then you want to gather your knight with like knight f6 and queen e7, maybe go down here, right? And then push a4, a5. Sorry, a5, a4. I mean, that can be easily blocked by knight a4, but you still have this. You still have that, so maybe queen e7, you go down, and then you try to break on the queen side. And the whole idea behind breaking on the queen side is that white wants to. What am I rated? My failure rating is so low, I don't even bother to remember it. Anyway, continuing, what I really want, what black really wants in this position is to create open files on the queen side, because you have that exchange up. You have the two rooks. White has only one rook, right? So the more open files that black has, the more it'll benefit black in this position. So that's why you want to create open files on that queen side. Yeah, so anyway, black didn't do that. Black went for the queen g5, knight f6, concentrating on the queen side instead. And I think over here, black panicked. I mean, despite having way more time than me, because you see, I've only like 1 minute 30 seconds left. Because black blundered here with h5. And of course, the whole idea is not only I have this discovered attack on the queen, but because this pawn is just absolutely weak after this, and this king becomes absolutely exposed. So after g takes f5, queen s6, the only move, right? Rook takes, queen s7, again the only move, and knight to g2. And now suddenly I'm just, I win 2 pawns. Material is even, and suddenly white is so much better, right? All of a sudden, black's plans just backfire, and now white is the one that's attacking king side. King to h8, knight h4. Okay, so the idea is, I think there's a stockfish variation here that I might want to point out instead of. I think stockfish suggested some very, very insane variation here with bishop g4, right? I mean, I'm like 1 minute 30 seconds now, and there's no way I'm going to see that. I think you guys can see that too. Bishop g4, and of course this is the threat. So I think here I can't remember what's the move already. Let me cheat a little bit. Let me just switch on the engine and see what happens. g4, knight. I don't know. I can't remember. But he was that variation. Get up again. g4 is. So the threat here is, let's say white. Let me say a random move like this. Here. What's it again? Let's check. Bishop f5. Okay. Queen takes. Never mind. I'm not going to look at this. It's some crazy computer variation. Yeah. I mean, this is a very human plan. Right? So, and white's defenses are very human also. I think Stockfish labels this as like blunders or something, but I'm going to give both sides credit now. Both of you are like down to 1 minute and 5 minutes. Yeah. Knight f5. Again, very human, very typical. And rook b e8. I think the idea is you want to stop the knight from coming here. Also, very sensible move. And bishop g4. Right. The idea here is that maybe I can try to evacuate this. I try to get this guy in. Knight h4, simplifying. Now bishop f6. Actually, this is a good move, because now your bishop is no longer the target. Now I need to make a choice, right? Because black is threatening to simplify over here, and here I make a blunder with knight to e2. Again, it's very reasonable because it does want to bring in more attackers, but again, when you're attacking and you want to bring in pieces from the other side of the board, the knights don't work that well, because they need like a lot of tempo to even get in, like 3 to 4 moves. And within that 3 to 4 moves, the defender can do a lot of things, right? Over here, the correct move actually is h3. And the idea is this. Takes, right? And now I have to go back. And now I push h4, h5, and you're dead. And what difference does h3 have as compared to knight e2? I mean, your queen is still on the attack, right? This is the difference, right? Your queen hangs. That's the difference as compared to h3. h3, right? h3 takes. Oh, this doesn't work. Takes. Oh, hey, thank you. I'm a knight up. Yeah. I mean, it's things like this that's very subtle and very really, really tough to spot with like 1 minute left on my clock. So instead of that, knight e2, Rook takes g6, h takes g6, rook g8, very, very good find by my opponent, especially when you're down to your last 3 minutes, honestly. And here, I think I could have held on with, what's the move here? Let me test the the engine. Oh yeah, g7. 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 Yeah, the idea is that after this, actually there's this very nice maneuver. And just the fork. And actually over here, the best move is rook 7, and just get an exchange. Maybe I go here, I win some pawns, and yeah. And basically it becomes a draw. Oh, wow, that's insane. g7. I'm gonna see this with like 1 minute 9 o'clock again. Yeah, over here I panicked. I went for g takes f7. I think here you look at the clock, I've like less than 1 minute. I stopped for like 30 seconds. G takes f7. G takes h7. And actually here, white is again, black should be winning. Black should be winning because the queens are traded off. There's no more attack to speak of for white. But again, it's not over, right? And the reason why it's not over is because black has no control over this file. Right? You can't get in. You need to relocate. So black still needs to show a lot of technique with very little time if they want to convert this. So let's see how they do that. Rook g5, king h2, g8. Now, because my knight really has no squares to go to, I need to find somewhere to redeploy them. Rook c8, knight e2, because I realize it's going to do some queenside nonsense, so I have to go back there. And now, wow, he returns the favor with c6, which works in principle, except that you drop this pawn. But to be honest, it's hard for black to come up with something. Again, he should be pushing on the queen side. Rook a8. Yeah. And let's go back here. I try to defend. You can still go for this, but you need to hold to this. So for example, king g7, king g6. Sorry. King g6. Try and walk your king over. Then possibly for white, what might have to do this. And the idea is that if you push c6, then I jump in. Then I create some chaos in that position. So let's say knight c3, f7, knight a4, king e8. And now, white really has nothing to do. I have to hold on here and wait for black to make a mistake. King g2. So that's really the only other piece I have to improve. Hopefully just get my way in and my pawn on this square. d7, king f3, b8. So now you really are planning to push this and stop me from coming here. Here. Yeah, I think with proper technique, black should win this. But it's not. Again, it's not easy. Especially since all of white's pawns are on dark squares. Right, let's push f3. That's it. I mean, black can win this, but it's not easy. Yeah, so instead, black turns me the favor. It blunders with c6. Still, it's not easy because I have to go back here and takes. This pawn couple might present troubles to me. In fact, over here, I think the stockfish best move is, I think it's like b7. So the idea is that you go back, you come back here, you target this pawn. Instead, I play the worst possible move in the position. I think you can guess what is it already. Knight f7. I mean, same idea. You're attacking this rook. The difference is that my knight gets trapped. I can't go here because there's a bishop here as compared to here, right? So yeah, suddenly Black is winning again. I have to do this. Now, if he does this, it's completely over, right? But no. I think Black really panicked here. He played Rook F7. And this happens. C7. How are you gonna stop this? Right? By the way, it's worth noting, right? I think for the past few moves, you look at my time, I'm basically dropping below like 10 seconds. So really all this is like on instinct. And on the other hand, my opponent still has a lot of time compared to me. 2 minutes. And we have the 5-second increment, so it's hard for either of us to flag. But yeah, the moment he played this, I was able to play this, then suddenly I'm winning again. So of course the idea is that I think if you take I have more pawns. My knight is better than your bishop, right? You go back here, I take, and actually that's what's being played. I think this, yeah, and oh yes, and I take a check. That's the key. So let's say after like here, basically the rook will forever be tied down to defending respawn. Then my king can come in and leisure and then just gobble up everything else, right? And yeah, what other variations did I not cover? Yeah, and then if rook anywhere else, I just queen. But yeah, so c7, rook f8 was played, and here onwards is pretty much over. Yeah. And yeah, black played on for a few more moves, and eventually I just checkmated them. But I think this is where I will stop for this game now. Wow, but really it was a very wild game, you know. And I think if I look at the eval bar, right, you just you really swing back and forth a lot. It really started with this. I should have known better that this position white really had nothing. And I think over here black started to panic, he went for the wrong plan. Starting with h5, and then suddenly I'm better again. But I think by this time I spent too much time on the middle game, and now down to 1 minute. I couldn't find the correct moves here. Yeah. And this h3. h3 would have been the correct one. Hello, Kristen. Very nice find by my opponent. So the game is definitely not over yet. But again, this is a very tricky endgame, and after this, yeah, more blunders by my opponent, and both of us in mutual time trouble. I think this is a fine example of like the winner of the game is the person who makes the second to last blunder. Very true over here. But yeah, very intense game, I must say. I think a lot of people are spectating. Like Jing Yang, Ira, a lot of people lah. Like when I was playing, you can see a lot of them spectating. Everyone saw my blunders and stuff. Alright. Hey, thanks, Kristen. Okay, so intense game, and yeah, I will go through one more game for today, and this is game number 7. Okay, I need to change the analysis title. 7. Okay, fantastic. This time I'm taking the black pieces, and we have a London coming up on the board, right? And so Queen B6 is one of my favorite maneuvers that I love to take against the London, because you move your bishop out so early, so this pawn here is usually quite weak. But in this particular case, white can afford to ignore this threat with knight to c3, e6. And I mean, of course, the idea here is that you take this might be a potentially poison pawn because of rook b1, and suddenly your queen needs to spend a lot of tempo to try and run away. Yeah, not worth. Right? So the game continues on very normally, right? And here is the first interesting move. a4. I don't really like this move. I can see what they're trying to do. Maybe like if I chase away my queen, or you can't really plant a knight here, right? Or maybe you just want to push like b5 and stuff. But I mean, in this position, if let's say I'm taking white, what I really want to do is to go for a minority attack on this queen side, and usually that happens by playing rook b1, a3, b5, and then after that, you hit using this. Yeah, let me just flip the board back. Yeah, but instead a4 is played, and now right, I can just reply with a5, thus stopping any pawn to a5, and over here it looks like we both have weaknesses on these two squares, but actually this weakness here is more significant than this weakness here because of the pawn structure. Is very nature. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue on. Knight e2. So of course my opponent, like this knight, is not doing very well here. They can play either c3 or c4. Knight b d7. Yeah, knight b d7, b3. Yeah, so you notice that there are some weak dark squares in this position, and actually this will come back to haunt white later. Right. I castle king side. I could have considered c5 over here. Yeah. c5 just blowing up the whole position, and no, sorry, not that move. I think the best move for white here is just to reply to c4 over here. So let's say after takes, and not that move. I think e4. Yeah, e4, knight to b4, and yeah, the position becomes very double-edged. It is this hangs, so yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. And then there's this, so my bishop is limited. But interesting idea lah, c5. Instead I castle, and that allows my opponent to play c4. Knight to h5, and you see the difference between him playing c4 and if I play c5 is that now they have the option to push d5. So knight to h5, c5, right? Queen to d8. And over here, I think the commentators from the NUS side, they look at my game and they're like, yeah, white looks better here. Optically, I am inclined to agree with them, but black definitely still has a lot of play here, right? I have a lot of pawn breaks. And let's say rook fb1, which is what white played here. So obviously, I'm going to advance on the king on the queen side. Takes, and I can possibly try to prepare a b4 push like this. So let's say bishop f6, rook e8, e4. Sorry, I mean e5 push. What am I saying? e5. So, which is very normal, right? You one side pushes on the queen side, the other side wants to strike the center. Yeah. During the actual game, I decided not to do that because it looks like it will take a lot of time, and I think white's plan might be faster. So instead, over here, I went straight for b6. Right. Straight away challenging white's control over the queen side, and eventually, if this comes up, then I have this very nice weak dark squares to play with. So now my opponent takes, and I can see why, because b4 really is not good. I mean, I just win a pawn by force by here, simply because, like, let's say here, then yeah, black is the one that's better here for sure. Yeah, so c takes b6, queen takes b6. Now I have this big square. I'm very happy. Into c2. In fact, both of us have these weak pawns here. But there's a difference. This one is actually more significant than this. And you will see why later. Right? Rook a b8, rook c1. Right? And here, if let's say I take queen takes b3, right? It's not that pawn is not free because queen takes c6. And I actually have to lose tempo trying to retreat my knights and my bishops. Let's say for example knight f6, and here's this, I have to retreat again. Then where do I go? I go here, then my queen might get trapped, and I don't know. I'm not gonna go into this line, man. So instead I go for rook f8, just keeping things normal, right? And in fact over here, the reason why I said that this weakness is more significant is because of the dark square weakness over around this position, and my bishop is actually perfectly positioned to exploit all those weaknesses, as compared to white. Right? White has no dark square bishop. You cannot contest me. Your knight needs to spend time coming over and defending. So I'm actually better here. Right? Rook a b1. Right? Natural. Defending this. And bishop a3. Now you really see what I mean by the weak squares. Right? You have to chase this away. And now I get rid of my weakness. e5. Right? You take. I take. And I threaten this. Queen a2, bishop b4. I occupy this. Again, black is comfortable. Rook c1, try to fight. I go h6. I don't really want to take so early. Like I don't want to help white like regroup their pieces. Let them do them by themselves, and yeah. I'd rather just keep the tension here, hope they will take, and yeah. So h6, h3. I have no idea why white wants to copy me. Yeah. Knight f6. So yeah, of course the idea is I got this square now. I can jump in here. I can jump in here. I'm very comfortable. And here, white blunders, knight e5. I guess he saw that, I abandoned this square, so they got tempted. Yeah, but the problem is that it wins upon my force now. Takes. Right? Extra pawn. I should be comfortable. I still have complete dominance over the dark squares. Of course, it's still not so easy. I mean, it's just a pawn, right? And the queens are still on the board. The pieces are still on the board. So there's still a lot of chess that remaining to be played. Knight f3, knight e4. So I just go for my usual plans, and now I'm threatening this. This king really should step away one day, so they can play f3. Queen e2. Okay. And here it's very obvious and very tempting to play knight c3. I mean, this is pretty much obvious. I think the commentators saw it as well. I saw it as well during the game. Right? The problem here is that white has a very nice reply. Queen c2. And this is hanging. I cannot take. If I take here, that's it. I don't want to calculate this, man. I definitely don't think I'm better. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't have to take. Let's say I go here, I break the pin, then this happens. And if let's say I ever move away, then suddenly you have this. Yeah. White is definitely not worse here, even though they are pawn down. I think here, yeah, I probably have to put the knight here, try to hold on, and then maybe f6, e5. I don't know. Yeah. But I know I have like 2 minutes on my clock. Do I really want to get to this and calculate all the lines? No, right? I already have a better position. I'd rather just keep things simple, man. Come on. And so I chose rook c3. Then just keep things simple. Pressure this. Right? Knight takes b4. I'm very happy to trade. Even though my dark square bishop is gone, now I replace it with pressure on this. Knight d3. So I come back. Right? I always want to alternate pressure between these two. Like, principle of two weaknesses. d1, b6. Again, you see this. Right? Knight to c1. Very sad move, but really, I think it's the only way to guard that pawn. Queen c7. Yeah. So, of course, the threat is this. And, yeah, rook c2. f3. And, yeah, f3 is played for a very brief moment over here. I thought of this very nice move. Queen g3. The idea is that you take here, then it's mate. You take here, I'm completely like just crushing you. again, right? And possibly I have to play here and force down the trade of all pieces. I actually saw that, but I had like 26 seconds on my clock. I decided that no, I don't really want to go into danger levels, and in doing this, for some reason I thought that coming here he could just take. Yeah, I just completely forgot that was made. So anyway, I go queen c5, king h2, queen c7. Just dance around for a while more. I think the commentators suggested knight g3 instead, but it's a bit uncomfortable. Don't really want. I mean, this kind of overloaded queen, you can have tactics happening, so I don't really want that. Knight f6. Right? I mean, you already weaken all these squares. I have all the time in the world to take care of them. I mean, there's increment in this game. Yeah. Knight d3, queen c3. So over here, I really am just playing the simplest moves because I'm very, very low on time here. So is my opponent, but yeah, I am lower. e3. Okay, so that's very standard. And actually here, I think because of his time trouble, they start gifting me a few more pawns. I saw this very nice tactic, just to win a couple more pawns. Of course, it's still not over, right? I mean, if he's able to win this, then this pawn might become annoying, so I still need to be very careful. And of course, there's always the chances for me to blunder this, right? This. Just trying to find the most practical moves over here. e3, otherwise I lose. Okay. So, very nice pin. And now I win a knight. Right? So takes. Doesn't do that. So, yeah, I think in these final few moves, I managed to find a checkmate. I think if you go here, it's just mate. Then a few more moves and this is checkmate. Very, very nice. What's this motive called again? Follow Tillman, right? Yeah. Yeah, it was a very tough game, honestly. Although it was one of my cleanest wins. I mean, you compare this to like that blunderfest just now, this is definitely more. I make less mistakes in this for sure. Not that I didn't make it, I probably made like a number of inaccuracies. But yeah, overall I am quite happy with these two games. Especially this one. This one really was my cleanest win. I'm just making use of this dark squares over here, making use of this weak pawn, making use of my good bishop. I force everything away, and after this I just win this pawn by force. I mean, of course, as you can see, the game continued on for a lot more, and it's not so easy for me to win. Oh yeah, I did it. The sense in this very nice. There we go. Alright, so I spent quite a lot of time on these two games. I don't think I'm going to go through anymore. There will be a part 2 for sure, because I have 2 more games in round 8 and 9 which are pretty nice as well, so I want to look through them as well. Right. And yeah, so before I go off, I just want to say some words. I want to thank the KCF NUS teams really for the very good games, to the commentators as well, to the organizing team. And yeah, before I finally go, I want to make 2 separate shoutouts. The first one, I'm not so sure if they are still going on. I think wait, let me just check. Are they still ongoing? The first shout out I want to give is to the Jurong Spring Chess Interest Group, because they let me just see if their tournament is still ongoing. Yeah, their tournament is still ongoing. So let me just go to my commentary. Yeah, so they have a rapid tournament going on today online. And so far they have 5 rounds. I'm not sure how many rounds they have today actually. But if you want, you can go and spectate them now. I can put the link in the chat. I can put the link in the group's description after this. Actually, I should just put it there now. Go and take a look. There are some very strong players there. I think Sing on Ashwin. You can go and take a look at their games. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the time, so I will not commentate. Right, so that's the first shout out that I'm giving. Okay, so the second shout out that I have is this event that is going to happen tonight. So this is the Collegiate Chess League Season 4. It's going to happen over the next few weekends, starting at 11 p.m. Singapore time. And my friend Kelvin Joe, he'll be providing commentary on the Sifka Twitch and YouTube channels. I mean, you can see it in my list of featured channels. So go over and check it out tonight at 11 p.m. We have 4 teams from the Singapore universities. One team each from NUS and SUTD, and 2 teams from SIT. So go and take a look at the games. Go and support them by dropping by the commentary. Right, and definitely all the best for Team Singapore. Right, so I think that's it for today. Thank you very much, and see you another